Today, I'm talking about reusable hand warmers. .57 miles, 9 minutes, 6 seconds per mile, 145 beats per minute today, going for a chilly first run with some reusable hand warmers in my gloves. Now, before I get into my thoughts on how these reusable hand warmers did, I do want to go over some disclosures. These are sets of hand warmers that I purchased with my own money. No one sent them to me or is paying me to make this video, and no one's going to get a chance to preview any of my footage or my thoughts before you guys get a chance to see this video on YouTube. Now, with the disclosures out of the way, let's talk about these reusable hand warmers. Now, once we get into winter temps, anything kind of below the freezing point, even with running mittens on for me, if I'm going to be outside for more than 30 minutes, I want hand warmers. And typically I run with like hot hands or like whatever the ones like the disposable kind. You can see them at like convenience stores, gas stations, like sporting goods stores and stuff like that too, where there's like 2 in a pack. You open them up and you kind of shake them up and they get warm and they stay warm for hours at a time. The problem is there's plastic there that you're opening each time, and then when you're done with them, you throw those little packets away, and I felt like it's been pretty wasteful because if I'm running 6-7 days a week in the winter and I'm going through a set every single day, I feel like that just kind of adds up over time. So I've been looking at other ways that I can kind of reduce kind of the amount of garbage that I'm producing with each run, and so I've been looking at some of these reusable hand warmers. Now, the way they work is they're just absolutely phenomenal. Like the technology or the chemistry behind it is really crazy. And the way they work is there's this fluid and inside there's a little disc and you kind of like just, it's almost like kind of like the Snapple bottle caps. You like kind of push it in like that way and you like snap it. And then what that does is it starts a reaction and you can see it here. It's starting to spread kind of like a hot version of glow sticks, and it's overtaking like the entire packet. Watching it for the first time is just absolutely bizarre, and it's changed from a liquid to like this thing that's kind of like a really dense pad of sand, and it's really hot and it gets hot really fast. So I thought these would be perfect. I won't mind if they're a little bit bigger because that means a little bit warmer on my hands during those longer cold winter runs because they do still fit, but it's not quite exactly what I was looking for. So I ran into a couple of problems right away with these. And one is that because they are big and because this thing is like pretty thick compared to like a hand warmer, I don't have one of the disposable hand warmers, but they're about the size, maybe a little bit bigger and a lot thinner than like an AirPods Pro case. So pretty small. They fit like in the palm of your hand really well. This kind of like takes up your entire, or like takes up my entire hand because I got smaller hands, but it takes up like at least all of like your fingers, which is nice when it's really cold out. But here's what happened to mine. So these are the ones that I ran with today. And what happened is because they were like stuck in my glove and there wasn't a lot of room for them to move around, each of them like molded to the shape of my mittens. And so like they were in my mittens kind of like this, and now they're curved and they're solid. You can't really move them because of the way that the crystals are. And then it became really uncomfortable, hard to hold my selfie stick, really hard to like try and like touch something on my watch, really hard to try and eat a gel, all those kinds of things that I still might want to do even though it's wintertime. It was really hard to do with these kind of inside my gloves because it kind of like gave me club hands because of the way these were shaped. And also because they were big, one of the things that I couldn't do is rotate them. So when I have regular, like the disposable kinds of hand warmers, what I might do is over the course of the run, like flip it over or jostle it, kind of shake it up, kind of to like churn up some of like the heat generating stuff so it generates more heat. I couldn't really do that here. So basically once it like gave up its heat, it gave up its heat. So even on a day like today, which was probably a day where I might or might not normally bring out hand warmers, like temperatures were a little bit below freezing today. On a day like today, I felt like these weren't giving me enough warmth after about 30 minutes. So like maybe they were like still technically warmer than the ambient air, but as far as like me feeling like, oh, these are really keeping my hands warm, it lasted about 30 minutes and that was it. I really need them to stay hot from like 30 minutes to like the hour and 15 minutes. That's kind of like the bulk of when I really want to make sure I'm getting that heat. So these aren't really going to cut it for me just because they aren't lasting long enough. And I think that's probably why they're so big, is because if you make them smaller, there's not enough of that material to make that reaction that generates or emits the heat. And so they have to be kind of this big. But what I do like about these is because they are so big, you know, if you put them in like a jacket pocket, they're going to be super warm. If you put them in a pants pocket, it's going to take up like a lot of space in that pants pocket. Or if you put it in like a chest pocket here on a jacket, that's going to be really nice. Actually, this feels really good right now, but it's going to feel really nice. So I think that like, while we're trying to take the girls hiking over the winter, we're definitely going to bring these. Maybe we'll also bring some of the disposal ones for them because their hands are a little bit smaller. But for me, I'll probably hike with these, but I'm not sure that I'm going to run with them because I just don't know that they're going to last long enough. In the situation where I'm hiking, I could take it out of the pocket, rotate it, kind of do that kind of thing, try to like get more heat out of it. But because of the way that while I'm running, it's kind of stuck inside my glove and I can't move it around very much, I'm not sure that I'm going to use these for running. So it's a real bummer because the technology is kind of really like, it's like a magic trick. And I'd like for it to work and I'd like to be able to reuse them, but I just don't think it's going to work for me. In case you're wondering, what do you do with it once it gets hot like this? Like this one here is one that I activated yesterday and now it's super like rock solid. You have to boil them. So you boil them in water for several minutes, which is kind of annoying. So that's like another thing that I didn't really love about it. So close, really close. And I still do really love watching it every single time when you activate it and then it turns into like from liquid into something hot and like sandy and crystalline. It's pretty amazing. It's fun. The girls love watching it, but it's not something that I think I'm going to be using for my running on a regular basis. So those are my thoughts on reusable hand warmers. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about it, or better yet, feel free to stop by and ask any winter running questions. Can be about the hand warmers, can be about anything, in a live stream that I do every day on YouTube, 3 p.m. Central Time. I'd love to see you there. Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video, everybody. Hopefully you guys are staying safe out there on your runs, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's going on?